What's up, guys? This is Kyle from Wax Museum, and as you can see here, I've got all things Wilt Chamberlain laid out in front of me, and the purpose for that is because this is a follow-up to episode 260 of the audio podcast where I talked about Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game, and that segment was directly inspired by this gift from my friend Jarrett. You can see I've taken it out of the box now. It is a Funko Pop based on Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game. Now, if you haven't listened to that episode, it's fine. You can still enjoy this video. But I just promised at the end of it, hey, I'm going to show off some of my Wilt Chamberlain stuff. So before I get into the cards, I figure I should show some of the things I mentioned directly in the podcast. Actually, let me pull out this bigger version here first. This first one features a piece of the floor at Hershey Park. It was an oak floor, it's about an inch thick, and the 76ers bought this floor and cut it into pieces to hand out for the 50th anniversary of Wilt's 100-point game. So this plaque here was the version that they gave to season ticket holders, and then everyone that entered that night got this smaller version as well with this probably about 2-inch by 2-inch piece of floor on it. This is the one that I purchased to possibly cut up and put into a card. I haven't done that yet. Still figuring out how I can make that happen. But these are not all that expensive. I mean, you can probably get one of these for $40, $50 shipped. Considering what it is, I mean, it feels like a museum quality piece to me. Maybe not this one with the bent cardboard here, but the plaque feels like a museum quality piece. So it feels like something pretty special for a pretty small cost. So anyway, those are a couple of things I referenced in that audio podcast. I also referenced a couple books. So I had Gary Pomerantz' Wilt 1962 book, The Night of 100 Points and Dawn of a New Era. I mentioned on the inside cover he had the Warriors and Knicks 1961 cards of the guys that played in the game. I talked about how Wilt's rookie is absent. You'll see one of those here in a moment. I also talked about how Phil Jordan was absent. Well, you know what? I said that, but he is right there. So if you listen to the audio podcast, I got to correct that portion. He is in there. Sorry. So anyway, another book that I referenced, this is one of Wilt's autobiographies. It's the first one, at least this earliest one that I know of. It was written in the late 70s or in the 70s. And then he also had one written in the early 90s. I've got that somewhere. I can't find it right now. But let's go ahead and take a look at the cards. So I've divided things into 4 different types of cards here. And you've seen a lot of these cards in my other videos, but I've got just regular standard trading cards from his playing career. I've got, I don't know, it's not really an insert card, but it's just a cool card that's not from his career or not a relic or an auto. So I've kind of divided things into those 4 categories here. So let's go ahead and look at the playing days cards. And this is the 1961 Fleer rookie that I talked about in the episode in the summer of 2019. I was deciding, do I want a Jordan rookie or do I want a Wilt Chamberlain rookie? And I went with the Wilt Chamberlain rookie. I have no clue dollar-wise how I'm doing on that. I think I'm doing all right, but it doesn't matter to me either way. It's one that I decided that I had to have in my collection and very happy about it to this day. Obviously, you know, it does have some creasing. It is off-center. The color looks pretty good, though, on the front, so I thought that was a good candidate overall for my collection. I don't see myself upgrading that anytime soon. I just like having one, so not a big deal on that grade. Another card from that 1961 set, this would be the in-action version, and this one is, to say it's bent is an understatement. I should take it out of here so you can truly see. But lots of creases on this one. I think I also bought that somewhere around 2019, but I got it for $35. So once again, I don't know price-wise where those are at, but I would imagine that they're quite a bit higher than $35 now. So that's good enough for me. That'll work. And this actually did not fit in a one-touch. I tried to put it in a one-touch at one point. It's miscut so bad that it didn't fit in a one-touch. All right, we had a pretty big gap between standard issues. I know we had some, smaller regional sets and other types of sets, but the next mainstream set after 61 Fleer was this 1969 Topps. I wasn't always a big fan of these tall cards just because they're hard to store. They were hard to protect over the years, but I've grown to like them, and as you've seen, I've been sending a lot of those out to get signed. Probably won't ever own a signed Wilt, but that's okay. I like having the card itself. So I've got the 1969. I've got the 1970, which just features a headshot of Wilt Chamberlain. Lots of information there on the back, though. I think that's pretty cool. And then Wilt once scored 100 points in a game, which for us is like a duh moment. But if you're a kid in 1969, you probably had no clue about that. I mean, it wasn't something that was widely publicized. Even later that decade, it wasn't until probably the 80s that started getting a little more recognition. But yeah, so Wilt scored 100 in a game. All right, so 1971. This is probably my favorite vintage set, even though it's not the one that I chased autographs on for years. I just love the color on these, and this screams 70s to me when I see this. So I like how that pink goes along with the Lakers, and actually the Pacers use that pink as well, so that's always been kind of fun for me. Once again, a lot of stats on the back. This time they didn't tell you that he scored 100 points. They wanted you to do the math. And I will say, I think I learned a lot about math and numbers from sports cards. I was always looking at the back. All right, so after 1971, we have this 1972. This was a gift that I really appreciate. Is a 1972 PSA 7 of Wilt Chamberlain. Notice the backwards jersey there, which we did not have here because the ball was covering Los Angeles. But this was, I've talked about this before, this was a licensing issue, and it was probably even cleared up by 1972, but they're either using photos from the previous year or the photographers didn't know about it. News and information traveled kind of slow then, so they were still flipping a lot of those jerseys around. I like this card a lot, though, because of that. I think it just adds a lot of character and speaks to the history of the hobby and some of the struggles that we've gone through before. Okay, I don't have the 1973 card, which I thought I did. It is a pretty ugly set, but it's got a nice action shot of Wilt, where probably the most of Wilt you can see on any card from that era, especially with the color picture. Real nice looking picture on that one, at least. But I don't have one, and it's not a terribly expensive card. I just haven't gotten one. So the 1974 card here, this is one I really like. This is where Wilt was supposedly listed as a player coach for the San Diego Conquistadors, or the Qs, in the ABA. He didn't end up getting to suit up and play for San Diego in a regular season game. There was an issue with his contract with the Lakers. The courts ruled that he couldn't play, but he could coach. And Wilt did not do a whole lot of actual coaching. There's pictures of him there in his dress pants and his sandals. But nonetheless, Wilt was a coach in the ABA for some time. All right, not too long though. So this is a set, I believe this is from 1998. It's another one I've talked about on the channel called Golden Greats. And you see this is Wilt Chamberlain here in his Philadelphia uniform. Looks like he's swatting a shot, and I don't know, I can't tell who that is, but they're getting their shot rejected there. And that's a pretty cool card. Who needs Top Shot when you've got this 3D stuff? All right. Let's get to the relics here. The first one is not really all that appealing of a relic. Not really, I don't know what else to say about this one. It's a Sport Kings card, but it's got this Philadelphia theme to it. So it's got a piece of Wilt Chamberlain game-used Philadelphia Warriors shorts, but then it also has this Bernie Parent Philadelphia Flyers jersey. I'm not a hockey guy. I don't know anything about Bernie. No disrespect to Bernie. I bought it just for the shorts, and it was another one of those I thought about, hey, I can make a custom out of it. I just can't bring myself to tear it up. So this is what I've got. Maybe I'll upgrade it at some point to one that's just Wilt, but this is what I've got for right now, and I think I got that in the $40 to $50 range. Okay, this next card I've got 2 copies of, but it's 2 very different patches. This is from 2004 Upper Deck Ultimate Collection. It's a Wilt Chamberlain patch numbered to 100. And I like this old Lakers jersey that Upper Deck got because it looks old. And I'll compare that to one that Panini has that looks clean enough that you could eat off of it. But this one looks old. It's got some wear to it. It's got some fading to it. So I like that. This one's numbered 69. out of 100. And then this other one here, this is a piece of trim that's 44 out of 100. But I had this one originally, and then this one showed up, and decided that I wanted both of them. All right, the last relic here is another one I've talked about on the channel. This is an Upper Deck card. It says Game Used Warm-Up 1972 NBA All-Star Game Warm-Up. That is kind of correct, but not really. It was not the official All-Star game. So I've gone back, I've looked at the warm-ups. They were not blue for that game. This was a ABA, NBA, I would say unsanctioned All-Star game. And the NBA guys wore blue in that game. So it's not quite the NBA All-Star game like they say on here, and I've got some pictures in that video that talk about that. So technically, I think they're wrong here, but you could argue that, yeah, it is a version of some type of an All-Star game. Still cool nonetheless, and I like being able to track that stuff down. All right, last but not least, we've got the autographs here. And this is from the 1972 set that I put together. I got the whole set signed. I'm lucky I started it when I did, somewhere around 2011, because a lot of stuff now has just become a lot more difficult to track down. A lot of guys have passed away. But I bought this Wilt Chamberlain card, and I know it's not the nicest signature. And yes, the card is bent not only in half, but bent in a number of other ways. But it's got a JSA cert on the back. I don't really feel the need to get it slabbed. I got this for $100. And if we're talking on-card Wilt autographs, I will take that. It could be creased a dozen more times for $100, an on-card Wilt auto with JSA. I'm pretty happy about that. This next one here didn't cost much more than that, and unfortunately it is hard to see because it is in ballpoint. I don't even know if I'll be able to get it to show on the video here. You can see there's the W, maybe that will help you. But that is signed in ballpoint. It's easier to see in person, but still hard to see. And I want to say this one was probably in the $125 range, already slabbed, which you could get stuff like this, in 2011 and 2012 in that time frame for that price. But things have definitely changed. So anyway, there you have it. It all started, the inspiration for the video and the inspiration for the episode this week all started with this gift from Jarrett. So thanks again, Jarrett, and this Funko Pop here. I hope you enjoyed that. Remember, there are new episodes of the audio podcast that come out every Thursday. And as always, thanks for watching.